Perfect. Perfect.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Lakeside View. I'm your host, Lynn. To my right of me, I got Kurt. To the left, I got Mario. And then we also have a new special guest today. This is Dave in the house. Dave, how's it going?
Great. It's great to be on, guys.
Thanks for coming. So today we're going to talk about some free agency. Want to get everybody's ideas on what free agents we'd like to bring to the team next year, who we realistically have a chance of getting, and then who your wild card is going to be. Since Dave's our newest guest, we're going to start over here on this side. Dave, what are your thoughts on the free agency class?
It's going to be a big off season, guys. Got a lot of talent on the table. You know, I think this is going to be a real hit or miss free agent class. I believe you go after the number one gun. In my opinion, would be Kawhi Leonard.
Definitely.
Both sides of the ball, just taking care of defensive player. You know, his shot is ridiculous. He just brings that energy to any club, I think. And with the Lakers, man, can you imagine him in the Laker jersey?
Man.
Yeah, I would think we do whatever it takes to bring Kawhi to this franchise, man. Make him one of the best, and you know, make his game better. Because that's that would be my number one right there.
I agree 100%. Mario, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I would agree, of course. I mean, Kawhi's he's the number one guy. He's the one that everybody's going to be going for. I think the thing with Kawhi is that he's been such a wild card over the last year or two. There's been multiple reports about what he prefers, what he likes, what he's looking for. There's also been a lot of reports that he doesn't necessarily see himself playing with LeBron in LA. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna say that they should really put a focus on Jimmy Butler. I think he is probably the second best, two-way guard behind Klay as far as offense and defense. I think Jimmy Butler can play that guard position and even can guard a three. He's shown it before, and he has a knack for making plays. Especially, he has a knack for stepping up in big times. Because of the unknown and the uncertainty of what Kawhi is thinking, and like he has a real tight camp, it's hard to know exactly what he's doing. I say you really kind of put a focus into Jimmy Butler. That's not saying I wouldn't love Kawhi Leonard, but you put a focus in Jimmy Butler. You see what you could do with some of the guys coming back. You add Butler to LeBron, and whatever's going on with the kids. Then you could talk about possibly looking at trading or start that next year focus on Anthony Davis later, because I think he's going to be the end game. I think they've made it very clear this last year that Anthony Davis was the end game, and I think if you're looking at Kawhi Leonard, you're not signing Anthony Davis next year. Not saying that if you get Butler you can, but I think there's a little bit more flexibility there. There will have to be some trades possibly for Davis rather than letting him get to free agency. And then just a guy that's kind of on the lower end that I'd like to see come in, because on the previous part I talked about Tyson Chandler, that I don't necessarily want to see him with this team. I think you have a guy who his brother had a lot of success with the Lakers here, and I think you bring in for depth at the big man position. You look at Marc Gasol, and you bring Marc Gasol in. I think he can still give you some quality minutes off the bench. He's not what he used to be with Memphis at all, but he could still score you some points. He's playing playoff basketball. He knows what that's like. I think he brings veteran leadership, and I mean he could just talk to Powell of what it's like in LA when you're having success. So I think Marc Gasol's a guy who on that second tier, third tier you want to look at to bring in.
I don't think he might be a little jaded by the fact that we drafted him and then traded him for his brother.
It matters though. I mean, you look at it, you think about it, and it's like, yeah, you traded him. Sorry, we traded you for your brother, but it's not like
it's our business, baby.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it is. And really, what does he want to look at? Really, it's like, okay, where's he going to go? If Mark's going to still try to hang on and stay with who he's with now, or even go into trying to get on another good team to try to make another run. I mean, it matters. If the Lakers come calling and they offer him something decent, I mean, hey, have a talk with your older brother over dinner and ask him what it's like. Ask him what LA's like, and maybe you could persuade him to come. I mean, you think McGee left the world champions to come here.
Yeah.
So, you know, not everybody's gonna go fully on for that ring. I mean, maybe Mark is gonna want to go that route. Maybe he does have a little bit of bad feelings from before. But I just think, as far as a piece, he would be very good. So.
Definitely. What are your thoughts, Kurt?
You know, I would say that I think either of those guys, any of those guys would be good pickups. They all come with some concerns. I don't think Kawhi does. You know, he's got a history of injury, but I think he's proven that he's fully healthy this year. And the guy's playing phenomenal basketball. I probably would lean toward Kawhi because of his age, but I would not be angry if we went after Durant. And the reason why I wouldn't be upset about Durant, I know Durant's got, you know, a reputation for being kind of different, but the guy's basketball, you know, in terms of his ability to score anywhere on the court, he's got defensive ability, he blocks shots at the rim, and I think he's got a connection with LeBron. And I remember, what was it, last season when the guys were riding around in an Uber or something and they were doing some type of a documentary or whatever. I know they're pretty tight. I know that Durant has said some things, not disparaging things about LeBron or LA, but about just playing with LeBron and the pressure that brings. Well, this guy went to a team that won 70 games and has thrived there. His age is a concern. He's on the north side of 30, whereas Kawhi's 27. But I think that, you know, pairing Durant with LeBron would be potentially, it definitely would be game changing. And I think that they would have the opportunity to compete. Not saying they'd win it next year. They might need to add a piece or two. But they'd have no flexibility because I think the money that Durant would demand at a max level would be, you know, through the roof. Mm-hmm. So while I like the Jimmy Butler scenario, I would argue that the only issue I have with Jimmy Butler is Tom Thibodeau.
The Butcher.
Having played for Tom Thibodeau,
Yeah.
I think, but I just checked it out. He's 29. In Tom Thibodeau years, he's 35. Because Thibodeau has that reputation of wearing those guys out. You look at, you know, Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose, Luol Deng, who came to LA at 32 years old and looked like he was 42 years old. But in terms of Durant, I would say, you know, I think he's got years of great basketball ahead of him, and he'd probably be my top choice, but by the slimmest of margins over Kawhi.
I think, you know, it's undeniable. The guy is 6'10", 6'11". I mean, he's got arms that, you know, reach out of the building. He can jump over and shoot over pretty much anybody. I mean, we saw what he did to LeBron in the finals the last couple of years. He absolutely just took advantage of that situation. I would have to go with Kawhi, just because, I mean, he might not give you 28, 30 a night, but he's definitely going to defend the best wing player. He's going to get you 22 to 26. He's going to get you an efficient 22 to 26. You don't have to worry about running too many plays for him. He can play off the ball. He can play on the ball. He can play small ball. He can play big. Whatever you need him to play, he's one of the most versatile players in the league. Kawhi would definitely be my top choice. I mean, you have your 4Ks, Kawhi, Clay, Kyrie, KD. Any of those four would definitely be ideal to go after, but I think Kawhi would definitely be my first choice. And as far as any other free agent targets might be, you might want to look at, I mean, you alluded to Jimmy Butler. I think he would definitely be a good person to pair. Now, he's not going to get a max deal, but if you're looking at pairing him with somebody, like you said, a Marc Gasol, or even, you guys might be surprised I'm going to say this, but I think you might be able to pair him with a DeMarcus Cousins. I think that, now I know DeMarcus has had some issues, but he's been relatively quiet this year with Golden State. He had a couple of little outbursts, but nothing that was, you know, going to put them in jeopardy. You saw the complexion of the series kind of change when he went down. I think he's an integral part to any team, and if you were to get him and Jimmy Butler, not only will that give you some cap space where you could fill out your roster with some decent players, but I think those are two impact players. I mean, Dave, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I see where you're going with that one. You guys know, man. Just talking, not even on on the YouTube here, but you know my whole feeling with Cousins. You know, I just think that guy, gosh man, he gets cancer in the locker room. I think even on the floor, you know what, the guy's game is ridiculous. He goes to the highest level, but it's that attitude, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's the only thing that turned me off about him. But you pair him up with someone like Butler, even if it isn't our team, they could be interesting to watch. Something like that. Again, I really liked, it was actually the second choice was the whole Butler thing. I think Butler would be interesting on our squad. Like I said, number one would be Kawhi, but Butler would be interesting.
The thing with Kawhi, real quick for both of you two that talked about any of the reports about him not wanting to be part of LA, do you guys read into that or you worry about that at all?
I can't really get into that. People are going to write what they're going to write. People think they know, but they don't know, except the people that come.
Yeah.
LeBron, what was the speculations they had all through the whole thing? Where's he going to sign? Where's he going? Well, he's not going to LA. Oh, yeah, he is. No, he isn't. It's, people have that job for a reason,
Definitely.
So they're going to build up the whole stories.
I thought Paul George was coming here.
Paul George was a lock, right?
Conclusion.
Paul George was a lock to come home.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
I think that, the bright lights of LA kind of, shone on that guy, and he didn't really have what it took, to come to this situation.
I
Him
totally
being
agree.
a backup player, not a backup player, but a sidekick type of player. I think that was the reason why they couldn't get over the hump in Indiana. They didn't have a guy that could step up late. They had a lot of great complementary players. Lance Stevenson being one of them. But it just got to a point where it was like, okay, Paul, we need you to hit this big shot. You look at his statistics, I don't think the guy's had a game winner. I don't think the guy has really been clutch late in games. He's a good defender.
He's a good regular season player.
Good regular
He had
season
one
player.
game this year, I remember in OT, I think it was, they went to like double OT.
Yeah.
Where
Perfect.